Welcome to the Demon Hunter Starter Survival Guide for Diablo 3 Patch 2.6.7 and Season 19. Now these guides are designed to be more theory crafting videos where we take you from start to finish, basically for the season, give you early game recommendations every step of the way, all the way to end game recommendations. There's a lot to cover today, so there'll be timestamps in the description. So if you're during the season, you can go in the description of the video, click on a specific point and jump right to it. The best way to start off any season is to save your challenge rift bag. Now the challenge rift bag already reset for the week. I did do it on my alt account, but you should not do it. Save it till after the season goes active, goes live. That way you can claim your bag and have a good start to your season. So yeah, today's Monday, the challenge rift reset. I would just wait until Friday the 22nd or whenever the season goes live for you and do your challenge rift and claim your rewards. You get some crazy goodies like DBs. You can do a Hope of Cain recipe right away. That's a weapon upgrade from the cube. You have, blood shards. You can roll for level 1 items, get some legendaries early, tons of stuff to actually cube things or to unlock your professions with the gold. Save it. It's really awesome. We normally start with level 1 blood shard recommendations. Since we have 475 blood shards from the challenge rift bag, what are we going to spend them on, right? So a lot of times we go for the Hellcat, or we go Wraps of Clarity, or Poxfalds. There's a lot of good ones here. Since you are a ranged class, you can even go full tilt YOLO Squirt's Necklace. But these videos are to tell you what I would do if I was to main Demon Hunter, and what I would do is go get the cube right away and decide what we're going to build into. So if you noticed, you get Impale right away, pretty much at level 2. And you get Fan of Knives at around level 14. So I would run almost immediately, maybe after I do my boss bounty, right? Like I'm gonna play the level guide later so you can watch the level guide. But yeah, maybe do the boss bounty, get to like level 3 or 4, and then just massacre bonus my way to get the cube. We're gonna skip ahead and do the Hope of Cain, the weapon upgrade early. Remember, the challenge rift bag gives us bounty materials to cube something, gives us DBs to do a weapon upgrade, gives us gold and DBs to upgrade our professions all the way to max level. So we can actually go here at level 1 and do an upgrade. Let me show you. This is you. New DH. Season 19. Let's go. Make your character. Do all the stuff you normally do. Go to Act 3 Ruins of Sescheron. Run all the way to the next zone from Ruins to the Elder Sanctum. Go get your cube. Come back here. You'd probably be like level 5 or so after doing massacre bonuses from there. Maybe higher, I'm not sure actually. And then make a dagger. It has to be a level 70 dagger. You would use your challenge rift cash from your bounties, unlock it all the way to max. Go here, make a dagger. Don't do a ceremonial dagger. Those are for witch doctors, right? A normal dagger. You're only gonna make one. You're gonna go to the cube that you just got and you're gonna go Hope of Cain and you're gonna find out really early what we're getting. So this time we got a Karlei's. You can either get a Karlei's point or you can get a Greenstone fan. It looks like this. The Greenstone fan, every second you gain 400% multiplier. Every second. It stacks 30 times. So even if you're triggering it at 5 to 10 stacks, so every 5 seconds you drop a big Greenstone fan, you're doing huge amounts of damage. You're basically one-shotting elites. And I'm gonna link a build specifically for the Greenstone fan, or you can get a Karlei's point where it's a 375 multiplier on Impale, and it refunds hatred when you hit the same target, so you get some resource back. The Demon Hunter, level 70 for daggers, one-handed dagger, has only 2 possible outcomes. It can only be the Karlei point, or it can only be the Greenstone fan. So you'll basically have a guaranteed multiplier next season, and you'll have a perfect season start while you're leveling, while you're doing your GR20 clear. You have an easy pathway to your 6-piece set basically for Unhallowed Essence, which is the Hatred gift this season. I would highly recommend the start. This is exactly what I would do. I would basically do the boss bounty thing, whatever, however you want to start from 1 to 10, or you can even go at level 1, go get the cube, come back and see what you get. Once you see what you get, then you can kind of pivot different directions, right? It says Demon Hunter doesn't have a shoe-in for blood shards like other classes do. There's not something that's so absolutely mandatory. Let me show you. So you go to DH level 1 and expand all, right? We talked about some of the things that you can get. Nothing's really that amazing. Not even a Hellcat waist guard is amazing. And it's not actually guaranteed. You have a 33% chance to even get it. So I would just sit on the blood shards till different levels. So if I happen to get a Karlei's point, that synergizes with Impale. And if I got the Karlei's point, I would roll for Holy Point shots at level 31. That's when they become available. So there's only 4 possible offhands, 4 possible quivers. It's not guaranteed you'll get it, but man, if you get a Karlei's point and a Holy Point shot from the beginning, you'll be set up, you'll be so strong, you'll be actually crushing content. You might not even want to use the 2 or 4 piece UE set because you'll be doing so much DPS. If you get the Greenstone fan, you might want to roll for Poxfald because you will be close. The Greenstone fan has to get within 20 yards or so, so you'll be running a little bit closer to enemies, where Karlei's can be more mid-range, like maybe more than 20, or even stay all the way back like multi-shot if they wanted to. So I'd probably go Poxfalds because it just synergizes with the playstyle really well. I might even consider rolling Cindercoat at level 34. Now, the cloaks are also mixed in with the Kadath chest pieces, so you have a 3-7. You only have a 1 in 7 chance of getting the Cindercoat. So bear that in mind, it's total crapshoot. But again, if you get a Cindercoat early, that'll be great for Impale. That would work really well with Greenstone Fan because I am actually using the Fire Rune for Greenstone Fan because you can shoot it more often versus the Lightning Rune. The Lightning Rune is more damage, but the Fire Rune, you can actually use it way more often. And then of course you can do Fire Chakram, you can do Fire Multi-Shot. Cindercoat gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of resource cost reduction. This will really help you with your 6-piece also. So I would just go for the big hits. I'd go for a Cindercoat at level 34. If you get the Cindercoat, you can roll for Helms and try to get a Visage of Goons. Or if you get the, Impale weapon, you can go for the Impale Quiver at level 31. I leave it up to you. There's not a real big shoe in here. And I'll let you decide your fate this season. Whatever you decide, I believe in you guys. For leveling through the game, the best skill is going to be Chakram. You get Chakram pretty early, like at level 12. I think I have the active skill list still open here. At level 12, and the twin chakrams become available at level 18. Those are going to be your best leveling. It's a low cost spender, just like the hammers from Hammerden, and it blankets the battlefield. You can just spam them in every which direction. As soon as you get your 6-piece though, it only buffs multi-shot and vengeance. So you can't use it with the 6-piece, but you could use it before that. I'm going to play the level guide here in a minute. If you guys don't have a leveling or you don't know your leveling path, I'm going to play that and I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, let's do a 1 to 70 leveling recap for everybody. So you make your character, you set it to adventure mode, which you can do every single season. You don't have to do the campaign if you're playing during an active season. I would set it to at least hard difficulty for everybody. Log in. Immediately grab your follower weapon. It depends on what class you're playing. Enchantress, Templar, or Scoundrel might be better for you. I'm going to go to the Templar. I'm going to hire him also, and I'm going to swap weapons with him. His weapon is way better. It actually varies, but right now you can see he has 68 damage, and mine is 2 to 3 damage. So it's like double my DPS. You can also swap shields. You can hit F1 on your keyboard, equip whatever wings you want for the season, whatever pet to help you pick up gold on your travels. From here, I like to immediately log out and go do the challenge rift. Do that whether you're doing it solo or in a group, and then immediately log back in. You're level 1. You can open up your challenge rift bag right now if that's what the guide tells you to do. Every character is going to have maybe a different strategy every season. But yeah, then you run to Kadath, spend your shards here. If you get the item you want, I would put it in my stash space if you're on hardcore, because if you die, then you'll lose it, mess up your whole start. If you're on softcore, you can just leave it in your inventory till 16, or you can throw it in your stash, obviously. What I do right here at level 1, after I spend my blood shards, is I go look for a boss bounty. You ideally want a Zoltan cool bounty, so it'll say like kill Zoltan, right? Or Magda's the second best. It'll say kill Magda. The only third one I really like is Azmodan, and we didn't get any of them, right? So if you get any of those 3, I would go do it. But if you don't get it, you can always just literally go to Act 1 and go to Halls of Agony 3, and I would do 3, and then 2, and then 1. If you're on softcore, you could also go to Act 2, Temple of the Firstborn. There's tons of density here, and you should get to level 8 really quickly. You could also flip it once or twice, especially if you have like an SSD on your PC or something. It doesn't take that long to just relog in, or if you're in a 4-player group, you say, hey guys, let's relog and look for Zoltan. Or all 4 of you guys can do it separately, and whoever gets Zoltan or Magda invites everyone to their group. That's even way more efficient because you have 4 times the chances, right? So you can see right here, it says Zoltan Cool and kill Zoltan Cool. So we got the bounty. We're still level 1. We're gonna jump over here. The reason why it's so important is because you get a Horadric cache attached to it. And we have a souped up weapon from our Templar, so it should be really easy. Let's go do Zoltan here. I have my hands on the keyboard. Okay, let's go. And another trick is when you kill the ads, either Magda or Zoltan, with Magda, you don't get the XP until they fully form. Like the ads have like this weird thing where they spawn in. Once they fully spawn in, you get XP from them. And the golems, you get XP right away. You're killing the golems and you level, and your level up explosion actually does tons of damage, and you actually kill Zoltan with your explosion. So I'll show you. So I'm hitting him and boom, right? You get this huge AoE pop. So you want to kill the golem around the density. So when you level up, you get that huge explosion. It kills everything just like that. But this whole process is literally less than a minute. You just look for the bounty. You don't have it. You relog. Okay, there's Zoltan or Magda. Boom, you run to it and then you kill it and then that's it. And then all of a sudden you have, you know, I got 3 pants. So normally you don't get 3 pairs of pants. And a lot of times you get weapons from this. So there's a weapon right off the bat right here, right? So it's unfortunately the one weapon we can't use, but we also did end up at level 3. You can actually do this higher difficulty than hard, but I recommend do it on hard unless you're a veteran. So you hit level 8, that's really important because that's when we're gonna craft a weapon or a bow. You wanna head to the blacksmith. You can see we have a level 8 bow available, and we should have a level 8 two-handed axe. It's really cheap, it only costs 4 reusable parts and 4 arcane dust. You can see all the materials I have. I have plenty of stuff to make it. The axe is about a 96% upgrade. It's at least double the damage from what I had. Make sure you check back every 5 levels or so. That's the only thing you need to keep updated. Your gear is gonna constantly fall behind, don't worry about it. I personally just like to do rifts from level 8 all the way to 70. I feel like I get better legendaries, better loot, I'm better equipped for the whole game basically. I have lots of crafting materials and things like that to get me going. So I recommend rifts. You can even do rifts from level 1. You don't have to get to level 8 quickly with the halls method. If you're in a 4-player group, you can jump right into rifts from the beginning. You don't even have to try to run to other places and do these massacres or run to the cube. You can literally just do rifts, right? So that's just my leveling path. I grab the follower weapon, I go get a boss bounty, and then I go to the Halls of Agony to level 8. At level 8, I craft my big weapon, and then with that weapon, I'm able to do rifts the rest of the way. When you hit level 10 or so, rings and amulets become available. That's huge for us. They have plus damage on them. And since we got 5 million from our Challenger bag, we can basically afford anything, right? The easiest ones I like to check is in Act 5 and Act 2. Act 5, it's right here, right by the waypoint. But in all acts, they have a fence in their name. And even if you look at the mini-map, you can see it says fence on the mini-map also. Like I said, you wanna look for things with plus damage on them, and it gives you a huge DPS increase. But honestly, any ring is good. It's better than what you have. And again, we have so much money, you might as well buy them anyway. While you're leveling, the red gems are way more important than anything else. They give you that plus damage, like we talked about on your amulet. You socket them into your weapon. And you also put them in your helmet. If you have a socket in your helm, it gives you a bonus to XP gain. It's always a good idea to save legendaries that you get along the way that have multipliers on them. Like this new item, Remorseless, it gives you a huge damage increase to Hoda. Even low level legendaries can be cubed for their maximum value later on if you want to do so, because you never know what you're going to build into. Even better, they increase the drop chance of the Legacy of Dream Gem. So you should get this on your 2nd or 3rd Greater Rift at level 70. What this does is it allows us to play without sets. You can see even at rank 0, it gives you damage for each legendary item you have equipped. So if you have like a hodgepodge collection of legendaries, you can throw on a bunch of like mid to low level gear and get like a damage bonus right when you hit 70, like after 1 or 2 little baby GRs. It's a really beautiful progression path. If you get it to 25, you get almost 100% damage for each item, and it's doubled for ancients. I'm not saying hoard everything, but if you do, you can actually use the Law Gem early with all your stuff. We already talked about what we're gonna do with our Hope of Cain recipe. We're gonna take a dagger, upgrade it, we're gonna get a Karlei point or a Greenstone, and we're gonna build around that. They're both one-handed weapons also, so we're gonna make a one-handed mace to go along with it. You're gonna head over to the blacksmith, you're gonna bring it up, one-handed mace, let's go. You're gonna want to have crowd control as a secondary. If it doesn't have crowd control, just throw it away or salvage it, obviously, salvage it. This one has a chance to chill on hit, so we're gonna leave that and we're gonna roll off the life after each kill. If it happened to roll life on hit as a primary up top, then that would be one less option for a secondary. So the best item would have life on hit and a crowd control as a secondary. And then when you roll off the other property, there's a 1 in 3 chance to get reduced level requirement. But we don't have that. That's totally fine. I would just be okay with this one if the season started. We don't want to be here all day. We want to be efficient and roll as soon as possible. So you can see if you leave on the crowd control and you roll off the other property, you have a 1 in 4 chance to get reduced level requirement. So we're going to do that. I would probably roll this. We got 20. That's a good one. So we can equip this at level 50, right? And then boom, you could equip it as soon as you hit level 50. And now you have a level 70 weapon early. And I would only re-roll it like 4 to 6 times before I make another one and keep re-rolling. If you burn all your materials and you're broke, it's worth it. If you're running rifts, you're going to get all those materials back anyway by leveling, so don't even worry about that. Up to this point, you should have a multiplier in the cube, whether that's a Karlei or a Greenstone, and that's going to carry you. This is just extra, right? This is just a extra bit of min-maxing to make your season start even smoother. When you hit level 60 and you're on your way to level 70, you want to look for jewelry specifically, all items like gloves and everything, but jewelry's hard to get. So you want to look for things like this with double crit and main stat. It's going to just give you tons of early game power and crit potential. And this will carry you all the way to like T7 and beyond, right? So I would even use like a level 60 amulet over a level 70 amulet if it had the stats I want. Because getting the double crit early, double crit main stat is where you want to be at. And it's going to give you some early power for your character. If you get lucky, I think the Dawn starts dropping around level 60. If you get super lucky and get a Dawn, then you're going to want to get to 37% cooldown to have perma uptime on Vengeance. That's going to be your absolute number one priority. You can make Sage Set at the blacksmith now. As soon as you unlock your blacksmith to the full potential, you can craft a Sage Set, and there's also a belt pattern now, so don't forget that. Also, when you hit 70, take like 10 minutes and make sure your build is good. If you have any like level 30 items, 40, 50 items that are garbage, just salvage them and craft something new. Crafted gear is really cheap to make, and it's really cheap to re-roll. It actually only costs a few materials and really low gold if it's a crafted item. See, 24k and only 3 of each type, and then just re-roll it. It'll save you time in the long run, and it's just a better thing. Other classes have to really rush the journey, but you're pretty good because you already have a multiplier. You're basically rushing the whole journey to get to chapter 4. Once you complete all the way to 4, you get your 6-piece bonus, and that's where when we're gonna say goodbye to our Karlei's point. We're going to say goodbye to our Greenstone fan, and we're going to switch to a multi-shot starter build, and we're going to focus all on keeping up our resource, keeping up our movement, keeping up our discipline. It's going to completely switch to a different build. So I'll have all these builds in the description. That's awesome, Blood. So I'm speed farming. I'm doing the thing that I need to do. I got new blood shards at level 70 rolling in. What should I spend them on? Well, for multi-shot set, I would definitely spend them on quivers to get the Dead Man's Legacy, right? It's only cost 25 at Kadath. That's going to be huge for you. Rolling mystery quivers like this, right? Praying for that. Also, don't forget that your Unhallowed Essence set is completely based off current max discipline. So if you're rumbling, tumbling a lot like so, you're basically doing no damage. It's based off your current max discipline. So keep it as high as humanly possible, because that's where you're doing all your damage from, right? So you want to get max discipline on your chest piece, your weapon. You can see I have max discipline right there. And on your offhand, your quiver. Just make another quiver if you don't have it. Don't use a legendary quiver that doesn't have max discipline. This happens to have it, but it's the most important stat is to get your discipline maxed. You can see we even have this preparation spell that gives us permanently 20 discipline. That's really important. So the spell, invigoration, your chest piece, your quiver, and your main weapon, those all have it. You might get lucky and get a Stone of Jordan that does also have max discipline on it, but we don't really use it endgame, only maybe for speeds. But that's just to keep an eye out. If you do get it, that might help you out early game, especially if you don't have it on your chest piece or something, because yeah, there's a weird problem with something, or you're not getting drops, you get it, right? I'm gonna play a Torment guide for you that I filmed, and I'll see you guys in a minute. People ask me a lot of time about what Torment levels should you do early on, and this is a quick breakdown on that. So Torment 1 is your first big breakpoint. This is when set items start dropping. And that's your first goal, is to get T1 ready, which you basically are if you follow any of these starter guides, survival guides. And your second breakpoint that you want to shoot for is T7. You typically can get to T7 when you get your 6-piece set. Sometimes you can get it with your 4-piece if you have some multipliers to push you forward or some survivability. The reason why T7 is so much better than, say, T6 is it goes from 75% chance to get a DB to almost guaranteed to 90%. So if you can just squeeze a little bit farther, you can go to T7. It's a nice jump right there. And that's true with T11 versus T10. On T11, you basically have a guaranteed chance to get a second Death's Breath, versus T10, it's only 50. So it's like a coin flip, and then versus almost basically guaranteed. And I would honestly stick on T11 over all the other difficulties until you're T16 ready. Just because you're going to get that second key or the second DB, you're going to get the second key also. And if T11's great, you know, you're speed farming, you're cruising and bruising. And as soon as you feel like you're ready, you can go up gradually if you like, that's totally fine. But this is kind of what I think of in my mind every season. I have these like break points, or I have these goals rather. I'm like T1, T7, T11, and then T16. All right, cool. You're farming Torments on the right difficulty. What are you going to spend all your DBs on? I would 100% spend my DBs on a Yang's recurve bow. I would upgrade bows to get that. That's just going to make, I mean, it's the best bounty build in the game. One of the best key farm builds in the game. The Yang's recurve bow. It gives you 50% attack speed and gives you a 200% multiplier. And the bow actually has up to 50% reduced resource costs on it. It doesn't show it in the cube, it's actually on the weapon. It's so good. It's gonna make you so efficient. It's one of the most famous speed builds in all of D3. And this is really why people say UE is the best start, because it's one of the best speed farmers in the game and you get it right away. And it performs really well with the 6-piece and nothing else. Like I was speed farming T7 with just the 6-piece and all yellow gear. So yeah, you'll be totally fine. This is on par with Barb for the best start. Barb does have an easier time before you get the 6-piece, but if you have the knowledge, you already have a multiplier, so you shouldn't struggle at all till you get your 6-piece. So you should be strong early game and strong late game with Demon Hunter. It's a really, really good start. Let's do a GR20 demonstration with the Greenstone fan. Let me switch my gems. The armory always puts max level gems in here. I should give you a quick rundown of the build because people might have questions on that as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, nothing in the queue beneficial beside the Greenstone fan that we got, right? It's a guaranteed chance we get it. I'm using the Fire rune, which will be great for like Cinder Coat and things like that. The pinpoint accuracy is the strongest rune in the game, but there's a 15-second cooldown. So I choose to go with this because sometimes I shoot it at 5. You know, sometimes the elites have just a little bit of health. But I totally understand if you want to go for that huge DPS to always one-shot. I totally get it. I just like this while I'm leveling. At level 70, maybe I would switch to here when they get more and more HP. But up to like T7, I'd probably stick with Fire just because it removes the cooldown for it, where everything else has a cooldown. We're using Sharpshooter, so every second we're not attacking, we get crit, right? So where is it? Right here. You can see I have 100% crit. So it's gonna stay there until you hit. So you're doing this huge amount of damage with Greenstone, right? You have the Fan and Knives stacking. Every second you're getting 400 more damage, 400%, 400%. And every second you're getting more and more crit, right? We have 100% crit because of this. And Ambush gives you 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. So we're literally just running around waiting for maybe 10 stacks of Fan and Knives, and then we're just one-shotting elites left and right. You can further push Vengeance to get 40% more damage and then pop it. I'm also using Marked for Death just for that extra damage, so you can put the Marked for Death and then pop your big cooldown also. I have Boar Companion for the tankiness, and I have Discipline over 15 seconds since we don't need the max Discipline with the multi-shot set. Discipline's only important when you have your 6-piece. We're just using this to get the 6-piece. So we don't actually need the max Discipline, but you can use it if you want. You can also use it with a bow at level 70. It doesn't matter. It's just a placeholder here. We're just running around and casting Fan of Knives anyway. So we're here in the GR20 clear. I'm gonna have to cast my Greenstone fan because I can't break the door apparently. So we're gonna look for Elite. We're gonna cast Mark for Death on him. and then cast Fan of Knives. And he should be one shot as long as he's above 70% health. Ooh, there's a 5-pack here, so we have to worry about our placement a little bit more. I might just drop it and cast it. So you can see that huge amount of DPS. And now we're at a 5-stack. I might drop it and cast it again. And even at like a less than a 10-stack, we one shot right there. Let's go look for another enemy. We have a pylon. I don't want to grab a pylon. I'm almost out of resource. I might just drop it and clear it so I don't die. Right? It's okay to cast it even if it's not on cooldown, just because we don't want to die, right? We're trying to be efficient as possible. I'm already at a 10-stack. Drop this, drop it again, and cast Fan of Knives, and we one-shot the elite. So you should be decimating Rift Guardians. Yeah, I guess your only nuance is huge packs of elites because they run around, but you can kill Density like that if you want and head over to the next zone. Really face roll. Okay, so here's the challenge, right? Cast this right here and try to get them all in there. We couldn't get them all, but we got close. And that's why I like the non-cooldown one, because you can spam it like every second. You still have a 400% multiplier. I can spam it as needed. I might not always want to wait the full duration, you know? The Karlei version is actually weaker. Unless you get the Holy Point shot, then it's definitely not. I would go with Topaz in the Helm for resource. So it's kind of like now you're a multi-shot build, right? Now you actually have a spender and you have to spam things and you're staying at range and things like that. So we're gonna put a green here and I'm gonna put a green in there since I don't have a main stat. We have a socket there and we're gonna go. This is just a 6-piece starter with nothing else but the Greenstone fan. I mean, sorry, with the Karlei point. It's basically the Impale version of the build, right? So I'm using a bow here, but you can obviously use a mace if you wanted, especially if that's what you upgraded, right? It's totally fine. And we'll probably use a generator. If you have perhaps a clarity for your damage reduction, that's good too. So you want to hit the same target if possible to get your resource back. And we're not really starving that much on resource because of it, because we are tapping a lot of the time to get it back. But you want to look for elites too. We don't have the most wave clear with the build. Ooh, we got a shield pack. That's kind of a tough one. And there we go. But we have high single target. The way shield works, if you don't know, you kill the elites and the last one that has the shield, it goes away. So if there's 3 elites and one of them has the shield, attack the one that doesn't have the shield and kill it. And then once the last one's alive with the shield, it'll despawn the shield for you. So it's really nice. So you can see with the Karlei point, it's a really good start. And then if you get that, oh, here's a yellow down here. And if you get that freaking Holy Point shot, that'd be even better. Here's a Juggernaut, a lot of density. So we can kind of just sit here and let it rip. Life on hit might be nice in this situation as well. We're starting to take a little bit of damage. I'm just gonna back up. You can see we're not as tanky as the other version because we're more like we're not one-shotting the elites. It's actually weaker at this point than the Greenstone, but it's totally fine to get through. And this is kind of like a worst case scenario with all this density. Okay, the yellow's dead. We didn't even see him get killed, but he got hit by a ricochet, it looks like. Little wormhole. And I just want to finish this pack so you guys can see the power of the set. Oh yeah. The reason it's nice to have full I guess you could run a Keela too if you get a Keela. If you go for Cinder Coats and you happen to get a Keela, that's awesome right there, you know? All right, Blood, what are you gonna build into early on? Now, you're basically gonna build into a multi-shot speed build. And I'm trying to bring that up for you right here. But my favorite version, let me show you. So this is like a classic multi-shot speed build. You got a lot of the same stuff like the Gold Wrap, Boon of the Hoarder, the Dawn. Links will be in the description, so if I'm going too fast, don't worry, just copy and paste it. But my favorite version of this multi-shot speed build is the Echoing Fury version. So you put Echoing Fury in the cube, and it gives you crazy attack speed, crazy movement speed, and it makes it feel like even more snappy and more responsive. You build into some type of variation of a multi-shot speed build, basically. So I think you'll really love the Echoing Fury version. It just feels so crazy cracked out, and it's really addicting to push yourself to go faster and faster. What you build into is really up to you. Demon Hunter has a lot of builds that are kind of close together. They're roughly in the same tier. Lawn Rapid Fire is going to be your best build in the game right now, even for season 19. But it's like, let's say it's a 133 territory build solo. Multi-shot and Shadow are like in that 129 territory. It's very close. So what that does is it gives you more options and more variety. Like all the builds are either in the super high B tier or the low A tier. Like they're really good. I did a 111 with multi-shot in like 30 days last season on hardcore. It was really fun. And then I just started playing another class to 110. Then I played another class to 110. And I was having fun playing solo hardcore myself. So yeah, it's about, they're all around 130 territory. They're really good. I'm going to put a tier list also out today so you can check that out. I'd recommend Shadow DH, Multi-Shot with Captain Crimson, which I'll put links below, Lon Rapid Fire, or LOD, Legacy of Dreams Rapid Fire. Those are the big three, but you can still play past GR 120 like Marauder Grenades, Natalia 6, Natalia 6 Marauder, like a rapid fire build or Rain of Vengeance type build. As far as groups go, there's a chance, like endgame, or there's a chance that Demon Hunter becomes like the best support for barbs because they do amplify your damage a lot. I'm gonna scour the internet for a like support DH build to give you an idea of what to build into and what to save. Demon Hunter does a lot in terms of amplifying the DPS for your group, so it might be a thing. We might run double barb and support monk and a demon hunter for like more support, more DPS increase. So you never know, demon hunters might sneak their way in. We'll have to wait and see, but at least you know that there's a possibility there. You know, you guys have that information. I guess in conclusion, you have the fastest bounty build in the game. You have the second, arguably the second fastest T16 key farmer in the game. Echoing Fury is nutty, you'll like it. You have a possibility for a 4-man speed comp. There's no possibility for a push comp this season, but the solo potential is really good. Impale's tanky, Multi-Shot's tanky, and Rapid Fire's tanky. They're honestly, with the Captain Crimson set, it gives you a lot of bulk with Multi-Shot, and I think you'll be surprised how much flexibility you have. And then Impale's really mobile and tanky, and then Rapid Fire is like a battle tank. Like you're sitting there, tanking everything, like leeching life off everyone, dodging attacks. So you have a lot of variety. That's one thing I can say about DH this season. Nothing new though in terms of builds, but if you haven't played any of these builds, then they're new to you, right? Big shout out to our newest patron, Aaron M. Aaron, thank you so much for taking the time to support the community. Thank you for all the YouTube paid subs as well on Twitch and everywhere. You guys do tremendous amounts of support. If you want to support me further, you can check out my second YouTube channel. I do like Let's Plays there. Right now we're doing a Pokemon Sword and Shield Let's Play. If you noticed, my merch is going to be deactivated. I'm going to relaunch my merch pretty soon here with like new logos, new designs, and all that stuff. So that'll be relaunched and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, just check out the description, check out my social media, Instagram, Twitter. I appreciate you guys already for all the comments and things like that. If it's not already posted, you should see a tier list today, so check that out, where I go over every class and show you just how strong everything is. And that's going to be all for me today. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.